Hey everyone, welcome to AdonisInMotion.com. I just wanted to talk to you real quick about nutrition, and I know that I've talked a little bit about where you're getting it from, and that's very important. So now I'm going to start to talk a little bit about what we're eating. As I said before, as close to the source as possible. The easier food is to trace back, the better for you usually. I gave the apple example, and then ramen noodles, which ramen noodles are absolute garbage, extremely processed. So what I wanted to say is, protein, carbs, fats. Okay, so where should we be with those? Well, to start, everyone's different. So the exact same thing, there is no exact method that works for everybody. So it's a little bit of trial and error. If you've never really paid attention to your diet or paid attention to your intake, you got to do that. You got to do that. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you kind of know and you're familiar enough with your nutrition that you don't have to basically count everything you're doing. But to start and to get a good idea of what you're doing, you have to count. I spent many years counting and keeping track and learning, and now I kind of am in a place where I know a good 90-95% of what I'm eating, pretty much exactly what I'm getting just by looking at it. Within a couple grams either way, maybe 5-10 grams maximum. So what I would say is the best for these workouts, and if you do work out, well, you definitely have to have some protein to build and repair your muscles, and you do have to have some carbohydrates for energy. You also have to have your fats. Fats are extremely important, and I'm not talking about mass amounts of saturated fat. Your most important fats are the omega-3s, 6s, 9s, and the omega-3s are usually in our American diet what we're most deficient in, and that's, I'm also allergic to fish, so I supplement with omega-3s, but I get plenty of omega-6s and 9s from nuts and olive oils and all kinds of other good stuff. So that's where you want to be getting your fat sources. And if you're having cheese, you want to get organic. You want to make sure you're getting organic. Again, it's the same thing, it's made from the milk of the cows. You want to make sure that's coming from the right place. Cheese gives you a little bit of saturated fat. Now, you need a little bit of saturated fat in your diet, but not a ton. Now, I would, if we're trying to burn fat and lose weight, I would definitely say the way to go would be to really pay attention to your carbohydrate intake and the quality of those carbohydrates. So the base of your diet would look something like protein mostly. So each meal, and I'll go more into depth in this in further videos, but each meal you want to start with your protein base. And let's just say on average 4 to 6 ounces. Men, women are more on the 4-ounce side, men a little bit more. And then maybe pick a vegetable or a fruit and maybe alternate those. So maybe we're having a real low glycemic fruit. Even though it's sugar, it's still low glycemic, so it's kind of got a slow release into the bloodstream, something like an apple. So a lot of my meals consist of a lean, lower fat protein, a fruit or vegetable. Maybe if I have a vegetable, I've cooked it in olive oil, or if I have fruit, maybe at that time I'm supplementing with my omega-3s. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but I would start with just a quick kind of outline for you would be: start with your proteins. And you're looking to be right around 3 hours, every 3 hours. If you're starving at 2, well, your metabolism's amped up, and you probably should have something at 2. Think smaller portions, more times per day. That's going to keep that metabolism furnace burning. That's key for burning fat. So again, starting with the proteins, and then add in a little bit of carbs or fats in one form or another. And I'll go over some of the good sources for these in further videos, etc., etc. Again, pay attention to where this stuff is coming from, and the carbs is a big thing. Processed carbs are just, it's really, really hard to avoid them in our modern American life. So you have to really, really, really pay attention to that. You know, and just a quick rundown. You know, your better carbohydrates would be, you know, oatmeals, sweet potatoes, brown rice, all whole grains, 100% whole grain bread. You know, an even better option for that would be like an Ezekiel bread, where there is no flour. It's just sprouted grains and extremely low glycemic. Little things like that. Now, it's a process of adjustments, and you know, just take it one step at a time, and keep checking out my videos, and I'll keep feeding you a little bit of information. Start applying these things, and you'll start seeing changes. And you know, if you're eating out a lot, well, you need to start packing your meals. Maybe a little bit more, being a little bit more careful. There are becoming some things available that are a little bit better when you're out and about, but I would mostly try to eat you know, from things from your home that you've bought, and so you have a good idea where it comes from and what you're getting, what's in it, what's on it, etc. So it's very important. And again, you might think, oh, eating every 2 to 3 hours, or you know, that's craziness. But when I say eating, you know, a meal could be a handful of peanuts if you have to. A meal could be just a quick shake that you know, a protein shake that you've packed, you know, earlier in the day. And again, we want that protein, ideally, to be organic protein, because this is where, you know, again, we're avoiding the hormones, the growth hormones and stuff that the cows get. They produce the milk that is eventually turned into the protein, protein powder. So make sure you know, you're avoiding those hormones, because those hormones are going to help to keep you fat. It's going to be a lot harder to burn fat that way. So more to come. Stay tuned. I got a program coming out here very soon at adonisinmotion.com. Check it out. It's going to have some nutrition, some more in-depth nutritional information, and an entire program to go. And it's guaranteed to get you some abs. So let's do it. And have a great night. Thanks.